Thank you so much. And Alex as well, it's great to see you. And thank you all for joining this evening. I think, look, there's a lot to talk about this evening. But first of all, I actually want to just start by thanking you all for what you are doing for our party, what you have done for our party, because this has quite frankly been one incredible year. You know, the general election does feel like it was a lifetime ago actually, but it was only November, December last year. Everything that you've all done as Conservative Voice in particular, the leadership, particularly Don and Brian and others have given as well, helped us to achieve that huge majority, that majority of 80, you know, a seismic majority, once in a generation majority, a majority not seen of that nature and scale since Margaret Thatcher was leader of our party. And actually it's majorities of that nature that can actually shape and determine and influence the direction of our country going forward. And as Conservatives, of course, we all want to see our Conservative values and beliefs applied to policy making, decision making at a national level, but at the same time growing the base of conservatism. So I just think it's so important to say that, because, you know, we're in a climate right now where we're in a health pandemic, as we know. You've all seen the news today. We've all been living with COVID for months and months. COVID has been quite debilitating, I think, for our country, for our people, for our economy, the whole lot. But notwithstanding that, you know, we have been achieving in a short period of time since the election a great deal of reform, a great deal of change. And I have the privilege of being Home Secretary, where I have been transforming our party's focus on law and order, also our party's relationship with policing, which quite frankly, you know, is long overdue, long overdue. We are the party of law and order, and I'm proud to say that. We've always been the party of law and order, but quite frankly, there were times when it did not feel that way. So we're absolutely, in fact, Don, you will know, many of Margaret's key speeches at conference, she would not only praise the police, but she would articulate with courage and conviction, as well as determination, the strength of sentiment when it came to law enforcement and law and order, and how that was underpinned by our Conservative values and beliefs. And with that, of course, our ability and desire to back the police, to empower them, to equip them to do exactly the right thing. So, you know, there is a great deal that is taking place. Policing is just one aspect, obviously law and order, keeping our country safe, not just through policing, but obviously dealing with security, our national security, but also protecting us from all sorts of extremism, whether it's right-wing extremism, left-wing extremism, but also Islamic extremism, all the things that, you know, we have heard too much about in the past, preventing those types of things. But at the same time, from real harms to our people, to our society, to our citizens. And therefore, you know, as people will know, some of the changes that we've brought in place already, still going through the House of Commons, because I have several pieces of legislation going through Parliament right now, looking at reforming our very challenged immigration system, introducing an Australian-style points-based immigration system, which will at the end of this year become a British-based points-based system. That work is taking place right now. We're testing that system. We go live on the 1st of January. Reforming as well many of the challenges around illegal migration. Every single day we have challenges around small boats, illegal migration, our inability to reform our asylum system, our inability to deport people that come to our country illegally because of lawyers and some of the activism that takes place, some of the claims that people are using, despite the fact that many of the so-called asylum seekers could have claimed asylum in many of the countries that they travelled from themselves. So there are a range of policy areas that I am assiduously working on with my ministers, but quite frankly, you know, this is our time now as Conservatives in government, with a majority government as well, to effectively bring about the change that we want to see, but also to deliver on the people's priorities. So Don, I think I'll leave it there so that we've got time for questions. I know there'll be a lot of questions, so why don't we get stuck in?